everybody, it's Jennifer. Still wearing my same pink hoodie, but I am going to do the palette tag number 2, and I'm going to go for a date. So like I said, I have to film everything today because that's the time that I have. So let's jump right in. Alright, so this is a collab tag that I think started with Ellie Glines and Samantha March. So I saw it on Amy Loves Makeup, and I just thought, oh, that's so fun, so I'd like to do it too. So that's how we got here. So I'll read the questions, share my palette with you. If it seems a bit rushed, it's just because I have to film so much today because, again, it's the time that I have. So let me go ahead and jump in and stop yammering. All right, so the first question is, what's your all-time favorite? So this is going to be kind of shocking because it's small. But my all-time favorite is Natasha Denona Mini Retro. I love this color story so much. I remember this was my first Natasha Denona palette. As you can see, it's pretty well used. The first time I wore it was at Disney World, and it just looked so beautiful. It was so complimentary to me, and I never would have thought it would have been. This green with these pinks, I mean, they're just fantastic. And while this isn't a political statement, it kind of is. Natasha, please give us this color story in a midi palette. My fear is that because the retro was a berry palette, she's going to come up with this color story in one of her $129 palettes, and that would make me really sad. It made me cry. So please come out with a midi palette if possible. I love this color story. I love these greens. I love these pinks. They're absolutely beautiful. They perform beautifully. I just think it's a fantastic color story. So that's my all-time favorite, even though it's only 5. So the next one is my new favorite, and this was easy. So this is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics newest palette, the Dollhouse, and I am loving this palette. The blend is so fantastic. The shimmers are incredibly gorgeous, and oh, I got that stuck in there. The mattes just perform like they are expensive high-end shadows, and you get so many. And I love that there's deepening shades. I love that there's so many color stories here. I love the way she orchestrates and orders her palettes and organizes them. I love the formula. I love, like, this shimmer is to die for. But I'm not going to swatch anything because I have a full video that I will link above if you are interested. But I love this palette. I absolutely love it. It is completely beautiful, and it's my new favorite. Can't get enough of it. All right, next it says keep for the memory. So I went through a declutter recently, and I got rid of a lot. So I don't really have a lot now that I'm keeping just for the memories. I pretty much use everything I've got. But I will say, one palette that I do keep and probably will for a while, even though I don't love the formula or love the color story, it performs just fine, but I don't love it. And that's this NYX Happy Birthday palette that I got from Ulta several years ago for my birthday. And part of the reason I love this is because I have not seen a birthday gift from Ulta or Sephora that rivals this yet. Honestly, the formula is not bad. It performs just fine. And as you can see, it's pretty well loved. So there's nothing here that's bad. It's just not fantastic. And I'll show you what I mean. These are very muted colors. One thing I do like is this red. I will swatch that for you, and this green right here. So here they are. They're pretty pigmented, but they're not really, they don't pack the punch that a lot of newer palettes do. But for free for my birthday, they're pretty darn good. And I think you can admit, like you can see there, that's pretty impressive, again, for free. So Ulta, NYX, if you're listening or watching, or if anybody else wants to do this with Ulta or Sephora, I love the free birthday gift. That's an eyeshadow palette. That's amazing. So for that reason, this one will have a pretty good home in my collection. All right, so next is underrated. So I don't know, this one might be kind of controversial, but for me, it's the Carly Bible by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this palette. I love it. And I saw Smoky Glow talk about in a video how it was one of the worst palettes that she's ever used. I think that wasn't verbatim, so I'm not trying to be controversial, but she really didn't like this palette. And that's cool and that's fine. But for me, I think it's very underrated. I love this palette. First of all, I think the outside packaging is interesting. I wouldn't say that it would be my first choice for a palette design, but it's interesting. But I don't love it for that. I love it for the color story. And for me, I think it is just very, very, very good. So you have a warm sort of row where you get warmer looks. You've got a peach, You've got this nice burgundy. You get warmer looks here. And then on this side, you have the Cool Tone Dream. You've got Cool Tone Transition Shade. You've got beautiful shimmer and glitters. And I'm going to swatch Mandala, or Mandala, depending on how you pronounce it, and the OA. Because I just think that these two, now, this one is a bit of a chunky glitter, but oh my gosh, these are so pretty. Look at that. You can't even see the shift. It's so pretty. Oh, I love that. I love that. Let me do that other one again to see if I can darken that up. So, there you go. You can kind of see it's a pink blue shift on there. It's gorgeous. I love this palette. I really, really do. And I've gotten some absolutely beautiful looks out of this. So, I don't know. Like, I just think it's very underrated. I don't know where the love is, but it's got the Anastasia Classic formula with a warm row, a cool row. I love it. So, I think that one is definitely underrated. All right, next we have not a favorite, but you can't get rid of. So this is the Sir John times Luminous Lion King palette. My mom and my sister got me this for a birthday present several years ago, along with some other things. And I keep it for, this is when the remake of the Lion King came out. It's not my favorite. It doesn't perform the greatest. I really have to work with it. I'm keeping it because I love these blue. These shimmers are pretty good. This blue, this purple is good. But it's a bit chunky, and I'm not going to lie, like the mattes are not my favorite either. So let me swatch for you this blue and this purple, because I think they're pretty good standouts. I'm going to run out of room fast here. So there's the purple. There's the blue. So I like those. They perform better than some of the other things, but honestly, the mattes and everything, it's just not my favorite, but I'm going to keep it because it was a gift and because I do like some of these shimmers and I need to show it more love. Maybe if I just play with it some more, and you can see like the mattes are hardly used because I don't know, they're just not my favorite, but I'm going to keep it, and I think the front's absolutely beautiful. So for that reason, it's staying for a while. All right, favorite collab. I'm going to do a cheat. I'm so sorry. I'm horrible with these tags because I do this, but I genuinely have two that it's very, very, very difficult to choose between. So the first one is the Pure Raw Beauty Christie palette. Honestly, I'm surprised that I love this one as much as I do. So let me attack the more vibrant, colory one, that side first. I think it's very nice. Some of these are a bit hard for me to blend out because they're so pigmented. These are pressed pigments, I think, and they're just a lot. And it's all matte minus one shimmer. But some of these are really hard. Like this green and this blue for me are really hard to blend out just because they're so pigmented. But I love having this bright of colors that I can pull in if I need them. It's the other side for me, the side that honestly I thought I'd be less drawn to because I have so many neutral palettes. But I love this side. I think this row together makes a beautiful look. 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 Like there's just so many gorgeous neutral looks that you can do here. So I really, really love this palette, and I know it was a mess to get a hold of, and the launch was kind of a disaster, but I had my whole family working nonstop, and I'm glad I got it because I really enjoy that palette. Then the next one that is a tie is the Tiny Marvels by Sydney Grace. You know, rest in peace, Mel. I think that this is a gorgeous palette. This was my first introduction to Sydney Grace, and I think it's pretty fantastic. My favorite shade is Scarab, and I'm going to swatch that because it's so soft, so buttery, it's so interesting. I just love it. It's this duochrome, red-green duochrome. It's so shifty and so pretty, and I love that shade. And I think this is a great palette. I don't often pull for it a ton because I struggle with looks in this palette. I tend to end up like staying in this quad or staying in this quad, and I don't know why, because the colors are so versatile here. Like you should be able to do anything that you ever want with this. It's gorgeous. The purple I struggle with a little bit. I don't know if you have this palette, if you struggle with this purple, but this purple is a problem child for me. But everything else blends perfectly. I really, really like this a lot. I love the color story, but I end up pulling in other palettes when I use it, and I don't know why that is, because I feel like everything's here that you need. I need to be more creative. But I think it's a gorgeous palette with my intro to Sydney Grace, and I love it. Okay, so then we have my 2021 favorite. Again, Blend Bunny, I'm talking to you. This is the Surge palette, and I knew when I saw it, I would fall head over heels in love with it, and I have. I just think it's so unique and so interesting. I love that you have neons and pastels and you have deepening shades. And again, I've done a pretty good review of this and swatching, so I'll link that above. I'm not going to go through, but it's gorgeous. These shimmers are absolutely beautiful. I love these shimmers. I just really love this palette. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a gorgeous palette. You can do a lot of fun looks. I have done a lot of fun looks. It challenges me, inspires me. I love it. Didn't expect to love. Now, here's a play on words, and it's an interesting one, and that is the Natasha Denona Love Palette. I said over and over, nonstop, in several videos, I could do a collage here of the number of times that I said, I'm never going to buy this. It's too monochromatic, pinks and purples. I have a bazillion. I'm never going to use it. $65. And then when I saw it on sale at Sephora for $32, I grabbed it, and I've loved it. It is really, really a great palette. But I think I paid the right price for it. I still don't think I would have paid $65 for it, but at $32 for it, I think is what it was. It's been fantastic, and I've loved it. And I'm not going to do like a full swatch because you can see full swatch of this everywhere, but it's a gorgeous palette. I'm very happy with it. I did not expect to fall in love with it because I'm not big on pinks and purples, so I didn't think it would be for me. But honestly, it has brought me a lot of happiness, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Next is Palette That Sparks Joy. So this one is a little bit sad. This is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac Aquarius. And the reason that I say it's sad is because I have heard that they have filed for bankruptcy, which is a little sad. But this is such a fantastic palette. I had looked everywhere high and low for the perfect blue palette, and I found it in BH Cosmetics in the Aquarius palette. It's so good. I wanted just some gorgeous blues. I've done full swatches of this before, so I'm not going to bore you, but I just wanted some blues that I could play with that would be so pretty. I like blues. I don't know what to say. I'm a blue-eyed person, so blues, I just really like them. Like they appeal to me, and I like them. So there you go. Like, there's some swatches. It performs beautifully. The thing that I think makes this so unique is these beautiful browns that are in here. And I remember another YouTuber who did a review of this and said that is why this is such a win, is because of these browns. I'm sorry I can't link her. I don't remember who she was. This was years ago. But she was right. The browns in here make it so easy to pull off a blue look with a pop of blue or a lot more blue, and you don't look like you're living in the 80s or the 90s. Like, it is just such a beautiful palette that does so much, and I honestly love it, and I'm super glad that I have it. Alright, and then let's see, newest palette in your collection. That's going to be the Hindash palette. If I haven't put that up already, I did use that to create the look I'm wearing now, and I did that on video, my first impressions. It is the newest. I don't want to give my thoughts here because I'll be giving my full thoughts in that video, but it came in my Beautylish Lucky Bag, and it is a very interesting palette, I will say, and I am happy to have it. And finally, what is the first palette that you used in 2022? So I went to a New Year's little river cruise with my husband, and in order for my fancy going out doing a date night, I always reach for the same palette, and it's my Toddy Beauty palette. I still really, really love it. I don't want to get into the controversy of Toddy because I think that's neither here nor there. I can enjoy this product. I bought it at a time when, you know, that sort of stuff wasn't going on. So I also love the mirror. It's full size. It's amazing. But for me, going out, this is gorgeous. I've also used this for a friend's wedding. She asked me to do her wedding makeup, and this is such a great going out, fancy date night, wedding, whatever you want to do. I still think it's gorgeous. These glitters, I don't love them. I really, really don't. And yeah, they are super pressed in there, and in theory, they shouldn't give you any problem, but I don't know. I've just gotten to the point where chunky glitters on my eyes they do make me nervous. I don't want to get them in my eyes, so it makes me nervous. I do lay down some thick glitter glue when I use them, but even still, I try to go sparingly. But everything else, I love. These shimmers are so pretty. They're so easy to use. Let me just swatch a couple just for fun, but what she calls the metallic formula, like, they're just so good. I am running out of space here, but there you go. These two right here, like, it's just so good, and it's so fun and dressy and fancy and date nighty and all the things. So that was the first palette that I used in 2022. Alright guys, so that is it for me. That is the palette tag. And as far as tagging someone, Casey Wilson, girl, I would love to see you do this because I'd love to see what your answers would be to this. And please let me know in the comments down below if you have any of these palettes, what you think, because they're super fun. I could go through palette collections for days and watch palette collections for days. So let's have a comment down below or a conversation. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!